it's been a strange morning. I wasn't even going to acknowledge all the strangeness of the morning, but this morning I got up super early to take my 18-year-old to work, and we got a flat tire on, like, literally on the way to work. It was crazy on the way getting him there. And then now I get a phone call that completely throws out my moment, which is crazy because it never has a phone call ever. They normally just like chop it or give me like a pause, and then I like jump back in. It would not allow a jump back in. So we are at part 2 of today's Moment of Harmony. So if you are just tuning on in, I'm giving everybody a chance to come back in that was watching live. Welcome back to a Moment of Harmony. But if you are watching this, oh yes, we're back in business. But if you are watching this not in real time and you're on the playback, there are 2 parts. You're not crazy. There are 2 parts at the moment now. There's going to be 30 minutes on part 1 and 30 minutes on part 2 because of these technical difficulties. Okay, but we are back. Guess who's back? Okay, we are back. Okay, so thank you. I thank you, Mr. Carter, for being the first one back. Awesome. You're so awesome. Okay, where were we? I have not cursed God or Goddess. We, just to do a quick little recap, we have already gotten 30 minutes into our moment. So in the first moment, the first pre-moment, excuse me, ma'am, I'm live. Thank you so much. In the first pre-moment, we talked about, Mommy Mercy, we talked about using the term God and Goddess and the omnipotence of it all, and how it means that, we are not demarcating what's great for us, our greatness. We are not finding certain places that we will be great or that we will be our best selves, and in other places not, because we again are not separating the creator from all of creation. That part. Then we talked about curse and how it can be used as a curse word of vulgarity, but we also talking about the power that you possess and balance with the great powers that you possess, but how you also possess powers and negativity and invoking harm or destruction on someone. And then we talked about we were just getting into those of us who feel like we were raised right. I talked about that. Those of us who feel like it's no way we out in the streets cursing the creation, that we are not out here being ungrateful for our lives, and that we are not out here being anti-spiritual, anti-great, anti-good. And I want us to talk about how this law pertains to us and how to get into our better and best spaces spiritually in a very intentional and transparent way, to really be able to go into your abilities of growth and development in a very transparent and awesome way. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the affirmations and the love and light right back to you. And hi to everyone that's still just coming on. So the first way, we talked about the 3 things we're going to get into, which we're going to be destructiveness, being destructive in nature, or being destructive in vibrational, evil or low vibrational, being selfish or self-centered in a world that is consistently and continually pushing us to be about self, to operate within self, operate for self, being in that space. And then also just not having the love for appreciation of life, not living your life, not taking hold of your life and what that does for all of us. So we're going to get into those 3 things because I don't really want the moment to go over, because we already had to take a little bit of a break in between. Okay. So the first part, for those of us that feel like we are not, I would never curse creation. I would never be in any type of place to be enacting that type of behavior, right? I have not cursed God or Goddess. To put the emphasis on where our ancestors were with this lesson are, again, when you feel like you're not cursing, I want you to know that being in opposition is one of the greatest insults to being. Okay, so a lot of times we feel like I'm not a destructive person, I'm not an evil person, but I want you to know that any of those times that you are being destructive, any of those times where you are feeling like, you're tearing things down, tearing someone down, your vibration isn't positive, you are not being conducive to greatness, you're not being conducive to growth. And I'm not saying that growth and challenge sometimes aren't the tricky space of uncomfortability. They are, but you are not condoning, you are not operating that in that way. Um, and just saying like, but just know that when you are in opposition to creation, when you're in opposition to positivity, when you are moving away from that which is good in any way, you are, that is the greatest insult. So the greatest insult is opposition. That's the great, when you say I have not cursed creation, or I'm not going against creation, anything that you are doing that's going against things having vibrancy, things growing, things becoming, make you an opponent to it, which is the cursing of it, the damning of it, or the bringing down of it. So for those of you, again, for those of us that feel like I would never be a curse to creation, I would never be out here making life harder for others, I want us to be in a place of being certain of, are we watching our words? Are we watching our action? Are we standing guard over self in a way that we are 100% aware, again, that none of our traumas, our pains, our challenges, our conflicts do not resonate and ruminate inside of us in a way that we enact them on others, either consciously or subconsciously? That we are not rude, in traffic, because it's shopping season and you got crowds and you have to wait, and it's getting dark earlier. That's doing a thing to our mood. Are you still who you are supposed to be, even in the chaos, even in the discomfort, even in the adjusting periods? Because again, we can say I haven't cursed creation, but I want you to know that if you are in any way destroying others, destroying growth, destruction or obstruction to peace. And I'm not talking about, again, when I say two things, two things to clarify. When I say the greatest insult is opposition, I'm not saying that we don't have opposition as challenges is to grow, but I'm talking about negative opposition to slow down, to stunt, to sabotage, to stop. Those types of things. And then when I am saying that, we don't at all, so when I'm saying that we don't at all want to be, we don't want to be in opposition of one another. I'm saying that we are going to not agree with things. Again, I want to talk about our intentionality. I want that to be a focus on where we're going with this. We are going to be in opposition with one another. We are not always going to agree. We are going to have circumstances and environments around us that are going to push us to be our better and greater selves. There are going to be challenges, okay? Sometimes we are going to, you're going to be in a position that's going to require you to apologize or retract or recant or redo. This is the humanness of it, but I'm talking, when I go past the humanness into what they would say is the evilness, the sadisticness, the insidiousness of things, would be more so having ill intent, wanting things to be hard for others because they are hard for you, wanting to hurt or bring other people down because of your lack of self-awareness or lack of self-love, being reckless with your words, being reckless with your actions, causing harm, being a sore, being a pain. These things are a damnation to creation. Okay, creation is here for growth. We can look at nature, we can look at the seasons, we can look at life. Creation is here to expand and give glory. This is what we're all here to do. Give glory to the essence of life and to love and to grow in glory. So anything that is not in the glory and anything that is not growing in such a way, it is again, it's dragging, it is destructive, it is harmful, it is hurtful, it is toxic. You are talking about being a destructive force, and you then are opposing creation. Remember what we say, cursing creation or cursing God or Goddess does not have to be you verbally saying negative or vulgar words or language, vulgar utterance in that direction. It can be, and it is in a category of it. But it is not solely that. It can also, and definitely is, you just being in opposition of good, being in opposition of right, being in opposition of peace, love, sanity, growth, and development, working against it. Again, for whatever reason you would be, but working against it is your curse. It is your damnation to creation. It is you saying, I don't care if this moves smoothly. I don't care if when I woke up in this day, I left it better than when, or I left this day better than when I found it. Then that means that you're either a gift or a curse. You're either or. Some people are a little bit of both, but here's the thing. We're working, and you should be working not to be them birth. Unless you are working to, when I say working not to be them both, with the exception of the fact that some people's peace is in other people's pain, right? We definitely live in a society like that. Some people's gain is in other people's losses. So if you, the system that we live in, when I talk and being in opposition, some like, Mr. Lewis, good trouble. So there is some good trouble, but that's not what we're talking about in this law of Ma'at, because we have to contextualize where this law is coming from as ancient Kemetic practices. So this is before American politics and the way of this world, capitalism and dog eat dog. But it does apply to today. But in the sense of this is just saying, hey, I have not cursed creation. I haven't gone against it. I have not wished it wrong. I have not intended bad things for it. I have not inflicted or enforced in any way this type of wrong, chaos, or harshness. Right? Okay. Destructive or evil. The greatest insult is opposition. For those of us, and we're going to come up off this law, up off this point. For those of us that are saying, I want to embrace these laws, I want to utilize these tools for growth, enlightenment, and development, and I don't necessarily feel like I am any way a curse to creation. Make sure that the greatest insult is opposition. It's going against, it's making it hard, it's breaking it down. So if any way you are breaking down peace, you are breaking down growth, you are breaking down light, you are a problem to the solution. You are the gift. If you are not the gift, you are the curse. Okay? And that's what, and every situation, at work, in your relationship with your children, with your friends, with your family. For those of us that are about to get around a bunch of family, remember, you are not cursing creation. If you are not the gift, you are the curse. And if you're not a part of the gift, you'll be a part of the curse, as in part of the problem and solution. Okay? So, the next thing is selfishness. Now, we are in one of the most self-centered societies in existence. Okay, it is all about you and yours. Your white picket fence, your 2 point whatever kids, and your dog. You're getting to the top. You're needing to survive. We are big now with self-care. We are big now with put yourself first. Again, we are in a society of dog eat dog, crab barrel, of survival of the fittest. It is a very all about you type of society. And the reason that this anti-moralistic society has become so big on self-focus is because God is in the collective. Okay, creation is in the collective. This is why one person cannot make a baby. This is why one thing does not dominate existence, meaning like the sun. There's no just the sun. Everything is in tandem. Everything has a counterpart. Everything has balance. God is in the collective. So, you came together because two people came. You came about because two people came together. And then you were raised and created in a community of individuals that are creating you, from your mother, your father, your teachers, your, the doctors, the grocery store people. Just the librarian. Everyone has had a part in you. God is in the collective. Development, growth, creation is in the collective. So this society greatly pushes self, because if you are self-serving, you will be more susceptible to the ills of the mindsets of the ways of these days, right? So if I serve myself, I'll be more likely to adapt or adopt to this dog eat dog mentality. If I serve myself, I will be more apt to adopt to this crabs in a barrel, only survival of the fittest, sucker born every day mentality. So in separating, and mind you, there are only a select few that separate and isolate in actuality. I'm not talking about what is presented to the world, because there are things like good old boys clubs. There are people that stick together because God is in the collective, meaning power is in the collective, love is in the collective, unity is in the collective. So is where that's where the true power is. So when you're in this day and time that's just all like, you don't need anyone, they tell us ladies, get yourself a rose, and keep it going, and have, just finding all of these ways. And they do with the men, a lot of times they have the video games, or they have other things that they take part in. They have things that create more isolation. You don't need her, she doesn't need you, the children don't need you. They're so self-sufficient. They have microwaves, they have AI houses, technical houses, they have cell phones, they have Apple watches. Like, no one needs each other. We don't need you to keep track of time. We don't need you to show us where we're going. We don't need you. We have GPS. Like, the world is becoming more and more self-sufficient. And I'm not at all opposed to technology and the advancement of it. Your girl is a geek on it, okay? But what I'm saying is, when it comes to the spirituality of us, without the balance of it, without being mindful of it, without standing guard on it, it is very easy to become very selfish in a self-sufficient society. And the selfishness is what pulls us away from creation, and it makes us offensive to creation. That is the curse on creation. We came through, I always say this is a Harmony original, we came through a person for and to people and with other people. We came through a person for other people. There is not just a snap of the finger and a baby is born. There is not just a blink of an eye or a rubbing on a genie's lamp for a person to pop into existence. This person grows inside of another person that has had to come together with a person to grow this person. And then this person has to sacrifice, give, and create an environment for this person to grow healthily, strongly, and then come into the world and be completely dependent on other people. God is in the collective, being able to love one another. He has placed us here for each other, with each other, for each other. I know we've heard the sayings, we've used the saying probably. Women have said about men, can't live with them, can't live without them. Men have said about women, can't live with them, can't live without them. The truth of the matter is that we must live with each other, because we can't live without each other. And adopting a selfish mindset, taking part in the trickery that you don't need, that we don't need to communicate, we don't need to touch, we don't need to heal, we don't need to mend, we don't need to exchange. These things will stunt us and diminish us. That is anti-creation. Remember I said, now because I've done 2 videos now, I can't remember if it was the first video or earlier just now, but if you're watching part 2, then you're all caught up. But if you just tuned in to part 2, then sorry. But what I am, remember when I said, when it comes to as coming through for a person with a person, when it comes to us being able to, be in this space of like, again, the delusion or the illusion of not needing to be connected to each other, not needing to be one with one another, the need that we have for each other. The Creator, in all greatness and all omnipotence, did not have to make us, there are animals that come out and they as soon as they come out the womb, they can walk, or they begin to hunt, or they're born with their teeth. Humans are not born like that. This is 1000% proof in nature that our development is gradual and based on one another, based on how we treat each other, based on how we show up for each other, based on how we provide for one another. All mammals live off the milk of their mothers when they first are born. The selfishness, the nature that is trying to be produced by this society that we don't need, don't want, don't have to have each other. It's not only killing us on this level, but again, it is opposing creation. And that's what I was getting at. When I talked about earlier creation, we said creation was about expansion, growth, and development, beingness, supreme beingness. This is creation, actualization. Well, if we're doing something that's diminishing and breaking down, that is the opposite. And then that becomes the curse on creation. So, for those that feel like I would never curse creation, I would never curse God, I would never be out in these streets acting like I don't know whose I am and who I am. However, we will be quick to say, oh, that's not my child, or I don't care nothing about what's going on in their marriage, or that don't have anything to do with me, us versus them. We just went through that with the political, cycle that we just came out of, and just the Republicans versus, Democrats, and just it's just the verses. When I'm looking out for me, and you're looking out for you, and this is a curse to God. We're better this way and we're better that way, and we are the supreme race, or no, we are the supreme race, or no, we are the supreme race. And instead of really being able to harmonize creation, that is love, ding, pun intended, harmonize creation, bringing things all together, loving and illuminating things in a way that it puts everyone in the greatest position intended. There was no race, I believe, that was intended to be beat down or downtrodden or oppressed. Definitely not ours, but no race was supposed to be that way. And so for us to be in this, this selfish mindset, because it's how America was born. The Native Americans had to be ripped, raped, and stripped in order for America to have a home. And then in order for it to be flourished and nourished, we also had to be ripped, raped, and stripped. And I'm saying that all of these things are conflictual and anti-spiritual, anti-empowerment, anti-high vibration. And in order for us to get to the highest level of operation, we have to get out of the place of selfish thinking. It is not only about what I want and what I need. My family is not the only family in the world. My desires and dreams are not the only desires and dreams in the world. I am not only here so that I can eat and the people that I know and love can eat. I am here, once we all adopt this mindset, I am here so that we have a harmonious home of eating, a harmonious planet of love, a harmonious universe of operation. That's what when you are not thinking that, oh no, I don't really talk to them because they think a certain way, they believe a certain way. Now, I'm not saying put yourself in harm's way or danger. We know that there are people out there that are, malicious in thought, and they are seconds away from being malicious in action. I'm not saying going about being about that. We're not going to be simple. But what I am going to say is that being selfish in nature is so much more easier to do in a society as self-sufficient operating and pushing as they are pushing on us. It is quick to think you just need your book and your TV. Trust me, I have been there. It is quick to think, this gives me the most peace, but I don't find peace in people. I find peace in things. Curse. What a curse to creation. What a curse to creation that I've created so many different types of women, colors, creeds, sizes, ages, ideas, cultures, and capabilities. So many different types of man, so many different ways to pray, so many different ways to eat, so many different ways to be. And you guys all are here thinking you don't have to do nothing with each other. You're thinking that even though I created a smorgasbord of humanity, a smorgasbord of life and existence, only your pocket of existence matters. Your pocket of existence has nothing to do with any of the rest of this broad and vast world. They are now, believe it, Elon Musk is now trying to discover or sustain life on Mars, because they're saying, how life is beyond the earth. Now, those many of us know that the globe is earth is earth is earth. It is a aspect of the universe. It is not the universe. But you have people out here that my world is it. Where I am is that's it. I don't care nothing about nothing else. I don't want to hear nothing about nothing else. I don't want to be a part of nothing else. And how blaspheme to all of the broadness of being, that the only thing that matters, the only thing that deserves your attention, the only thing that deserves your prayers, or the only aspect of anything that deserves your care is you. Nature deserves it. Land deserves it. We're all worthy of each other. We're all worthy of the divinity placed in one another. And in being selfish minded, we're not caring about, we got out of that bad job. We don't care about going back for anybody else. We got out of this. We've been in this marriage for so many years. We had all these dips and turns to learn about. But when it comes to them, we're just going to laugh and giggle and shut our eyes to what they're. We are here together. We are gathered here today. We are gathered here today and every day on this one planet. We are gathered here today and every day in this one space of beingness that is not by coincidence, that is not by happenstance. I was just sharing with the bestie, me and her, we've been getting into The Secret a lot, the documentary and the movie and the book. And we were talking about all of these things a lot, and I was telling her there was a quote in the movie, because I just recently saw the movie, and there was a quote that said there's two ways to live your life. One way is as if nothing is a miracle, and the other way is that everything is. And the thing about where we are in life and how life is and how we've grown and how we impact each other, how we exchange with one another, how we influence each other, speaks volumes about the intentionality, the intention and creation on collectivity, the intention and creation on connectivity. It is so blatant. It is so blatant. We literally heal each other. We literally educate each other. We literally elevate each other. Everything we know is because the people in our lives before us that taught us. Math, can you do math? Name a teacher. Can you read and write? Name a teacher. You know right from wrong? Name a mother. You know a scripture or a psalm? Name a spiritual leader or facilitator. Every single thing we are is because of the people that are with us, that are growing with us. Now when you've grown and you've become and your cup has been filled up and you've poured your cup into others, now look at you becoming divine. Now look at you becoming an elder. Now look at you becoming an educator. Now look at you becoming a scholar. Look at your elevation that is only possible with what you are able to give and do for others. You grew because others gave to you, and then you grew more because you were able to give to others. It is the cycle of connectivity and being selfish, being out for self, being selfish, sexist, racist, ageist, egregious in any way. Being all of those things is a curse to creation. You're cursing God in your hate. You're cursing God in your discrimination. You're cursing God in your separation. Now, I'm not saying that you don't. I'm a big believer and advocate in culture. Honor your culture. Love where you come from. Practice who you are. I'm not saying that we don't hone in on ourselves and appreciate ourselves and grow ourselves and learn from ourselves and in our way. But what I'm saying is that self is collective, especially culturally for those of us of African descent. Self is many. It is everyone. It is community. Self is plural. And when you are in this world that is like, you have $5,000 to spend on Christmas or Kwanzaa or Hanukkah or whatever holiday you celebrate and you may buy gifts for, and you could care less about who doesn't have anything. Your car is luxury. Your car is warm with the heated seats. And your girl love a heated seat, okay? But guess what I also love? I love a heated heart. Okay, I love to warm someone else's heart too. I love to make sure that if there is a overflow, I can provide for others because God is in the collective. And so I have not cursed God. I mean, I have not been antisocial. I have not been selfish. I have not been isolating. I have not been careless, reckless to myself. I have not been the individual. Oh, me, oh, my, me, myself, and I haven't been that way. I understand that that is a curse to creation, the vastness and the omnipotence of creation. It is the exact opposite when I shut it down and I shut it out and I say, only me. Only I should eat. Only my child should go to the best schools. Only we should have the best of things. And we are not out here being intentional about growing, giving, and loving one another back and forward. So when we get into, I have not cursed God or goddess, being destructive, low vibrational, evil in intention or in behavior in any realm is the curse on creation. Being selfish, not keeping in mind, like I said, that you came through a person for people. You're here for me. I'm here for you. This is why the Creator put us here at the same time, in the same place, in the same areas, because we're here. It was intended. Think about if you're a mom of many. I'm a mom of many, okay? And I always rest assured when my children are together. You can go to the party by yourself. I'm going to be on pins and needles all night. I hope you're okay. I hope you don't run into the wrong person at the wrong time. But if you go with your brother, take your brother with you. Take your sister with you. I am a mom of many, but I also am one of many with my siblings. And I know the peace of the crew, the peace of the tribe, the peace and the power of the collective. You don't want none with one because then you're going to want some with all. And there's power in that. There's development in that. There's growth in that. How I've learned. Oh, how I've been exposed. Oh, how I've been nurtured. Oh, how I've been built because of the collective. Selfishness is a curse on God and goddess as it pertains to this law. That is one of the ways when you're saying you're not cursing God, but you out here only worried about you and yours. You and yours is not external to you. So some people say, oh, I'm not selfish because I'm worried about me and mine. You and yours is you. These are your extensions. That's still you. Care about something and someone other than yourself. Bigger than yourself. Aside for yourself. Alongside yourself. Okay? I have not cursed God. I have not been self-centered. I have not been selfish. I have not only wanted my own greatness, peace, and progress. I have surely not stolen anyone else's peace to gain my own. That's a whole nother moment, y'all. That's a whole nother law. Okay, the last thing, because we getting a little bit over. We already did 30 minutes on the part one, part two. So let's go ahead and the last thing, and we're going to get up out of here. One of the greatest curses to God, or goddess, one of the greatest curses on creation is not living life and not loving life. Not living and loving your life is a great and grave curse to creation. You are created in this specific life that you were chosen. With the parents, you were chosen. With the family, you were chosen. In the skin, you were chosen. In the gender, you were chosen. In the light, in the way, in the state, in the time, in alignment that you came here very strategically, very intentionally. God is the greatest scientist of all. For those who always say we separate science and God, science and God, there is no greater scientist when it comes to getting into a lab and creating, when it comes and putting compounds and things together in order to make something majestic and extraordinary. No greater scientist. You are not a freak incident. You are not, again, a haphazard. You did not come here by happenstance. Oh, I was trying to make something else and I made a harmony. Trust me, God was intentional about me. Put in just enough, took out just enough, made it exactly the way I needed to be made, and then put me in a world that would continue to develop those things already that I possess. Put me in a place, put me with the family, put me with the friends, put me with the love, everything that I needed in order to continue to grow. I have not one reason. And listen, y'all, I know what y'all about to say. Don't let this smile fool you. Life be lifing. I have and still, I have not one reason to not love this life and live this life to the fullest. It's no mistake about where you are and who you are. And I know that times can get rough. I know that some of us are going to log off, we hungry. Some of us are going to log off, we're healing. Some of us are going to log off, we're configuring and finding. We're talking ourselves out of craziness. We might be trying to battle some low issues and some things. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's intentional. I'm saying that it's necessary. I'm saying that it's the way exactly that it was supposed to be in order to guide you into the rebirth of who you are going to be. It's the way it's supposed to be for who you are supposed to be. Harmony right now today. I still got things to work through. And I always will. I'm ever evolving. Shout out to the best of you about to get those matching tattoos. I'm ever evolving. But my thing is, there is no mistake about where I am right now in this moment. And I don't have one reason not to love this life. I don't have one reason not to live this life. I can miss people being a part of this life. Oh, how I miss Victorious Khan Aziz and his presence in this life. Oh, how I miss and wish that certain things were away or I did a different thing differently. I'm not going to say that I don't have memories or I don't have things and desires and wishes, things I've done differently or done a new way. But hey, what I am saying is that I don't love this life any inch less. And I don't live this life any inch less. Because again, I am exactly where GPS says you are here. This is the world, this is the universe, and you are here. You are exactly where you are supposed to be for where you are supposed to be. You're going to a place, you're growing to a place, you're becoming a person, you're evolving, you're going to fall, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to get it wrong, you're going to get it right. You're going to be great. It's going to not always be happy. You're going to be all right. But guess what? If you hate this life, you're complaining about your blessings. You are wishing for something different than what you have. You are overlooking all that you do possess and all that you do have. What a curse on creation. What a way to say, I don't love this day. I don't love this moment. I don't love this person. I don't love this spirit. I don't love this energy. How is there a way to say that without being a curse on who you are, what you were created? There is strategy behind your greatness. There is a plan for where you are going, and every single second is a testament to the movement of your mission, to the greatness and the awesomeness of your creation. Don't ever be in a life that you're not living, or be in a life that you don't love. A chance that you won't take on yourself. A move that you won't make for yourself. Things that you won't do to grow and heal and empower yourself. Don't ever be in a life that you don't love and that you don't live. And for once, whenever you get, I heard recently on something I was watching earlier, a woman, she was advised to get a full-length mirror. She had only had a, I guess like vanity shoulder, mirror, from the shoulders up mirror. Kind of like this screen. She only had that type of mirror. And her friend was like, you don't have a full length? Like, what woman doesn't have a full length mirror in her house? Okay, I don't know how she's living like that. But this is what she said. She said, one step at a time. She said, because she doesn't know that she could stomach seeing that much of herself every day. Talk about heartbreak. Talk about breaking inside myself. You're talking about people that are good people. People that love others, tend to others, not evil, giving, growing as much as they can, sacrificing, but then don't love themselves. Can't take themselves. Don't want to be sitting with self. What a curse to creation. That, Creator, I love you so much, but I only love some of what you've created. I only love some of what you've done, what you've made, what you've given me. I'm grateful, but only from the neck up. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And then we're talking about work. We're talking about growth. This is why when it comes to the 42 laws of Ma'at, they are proclamations and declarations. I have not, or I will not curse God or Goddess. I will not be selfish. I will not be rude. I will not be mean. I will not be ungrateful to my life and unloving to myself. I will not. And then all the work it takes to get through that law throughout the day and stand true. Yes, the commercials that you see and the things that you influence and the desires that you have and the cravings that are pulling. Working to get through the night to be able to say, I have not. Guess what? It's 7 p.m. Friday. I haven't hate myself. You know what I'm saying? I haven't hate nobody else. Shout out to Glorilla. Okay, that was my spiritual spin on her lyrics. But being able to get to the end of the day and say, I have not cursed God or Goddess. I have not been in opposition of life and creation. I have not loved less. I have not given less. I have not grown less in this day, in this boundless, omnipotent energy of creation. I love you all so much. Thank you for bearing with me through the whole little technical breakdown. Those that jumped off one ship and jumped on the other with your girl, you a real one. Okay, thank you. Those that joined in, don't know what's happening, catch part 1. It's available also at the same time this one will be available, because this is only part 2. There is a part 1. This is why this is only, a little bit shorter than the other one. But holla at your girl. Go on and watch them both together. Let's try to bring it together. Okay, like a Twix, the right and the left moment. Y'all had a right and left moment this morning. Okay, I love you all so much. I can't wait to see you next week for another moment of harmony. Go on out your way and take really good care of yourself, and then take some extra out your way to take really, really, really good care of someone else. I love you all so much. I'll see you next week for another moment of harmony.